stories give emotion. Stories give motivation and excitement and interest and empathy. That is what drives buying decisions. That is what drives us to have fun and enjoy each other. The silliness, the relationships that we build is all in storytelling. So in my mind, telling a story is where we do all of our learning.
Welcome to Biz Stories Shared, where storytellers share their inspiration, motivation, some disappointments, and how they applied the lessons that led them to success. Stories are gifts. Listen as these gifts are shared. Now, here is your host, Charlotte Plott.
Hello, storytellers. This is Charlotte Plott, and I'm thrilled to bring you our guest today, Dana Malstaff. Dana, are you ready to be a storyteller?
Oh, I am so ready.
Oh, good. I'm so excited to hear your stories. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Dana. She is a mother, an author, a business and content strategist, coach, podcaster, and blind spot reducer. Dana is the author of Boss Mom, the ultimate guide to raising a business and nurturing your family like a pro, and the founder of the Boss Mom movement. She serves boss moms who yearn for more time and less guilt when it comes to building their business and starting or raising their family by providing the tools they need to get more out of their content and business without sacrificing their family goals. When she is not creating new courses or building new strategy tools for creative entrepreneurs, she can be found chasing her son on the beach, rubbing cheeks with her new daughter, or thinking of the next fun family adventure. That just sounds all so delightful, Dana, and I'm really glad to be here. And so I've given our listeners just a little summary about you. So will you take a minute and tell us more about you personally, because we want to get to know you better, and then give us an overview of your business.
Yeah, sure. So, gosh, well, we could probably sit here for hours, and I could tell you my stories, because I have lots and lots of stories. I say that I started my business when I had my son, and I grew my business when I had my daughter. My entrepreneurial journey really started at the exact time that I, basically got pregnant with my son. So they've been very much intertwined for me, and I have always seen such an interesting correlation between a business and a baby, and they seem to have the same characteristics, which is so cool to me because we can learn so much from both of them, and a lot of times we try and separate them in our lives. And so what I've done in my business and in my life is show how they go together, and ultimately show how I think we say that it's not about sacrificing our lives for our children. It's about showing our children what a good life lived is sort of the motto of what I teach in the Boss Mom book. And that's how I think a lot of my stories, at least since I've had kids, has really come into play, because there's just such an interesting way we can learn both, and I think we enjoy and thrive in both our business and our family when we start to think of them as this integrated thing together. So that's a little bit about me. I've got 2 kids. So I've got my son who's 2.5, my daughter who is going to be a year actually pretty soon, so she's not as new anymore. I live in beautiful San Diego, and I have a home office, and I love to work. I love to hang out with my kids. They're both I consider myself to have 3 babies. And I'm really building a life through my business and my passion, and love what I get to do every single day. And so that's a little bit about me. And really my business is all about helping mom entrepreneurs to create thriving businesses and families at the same time, to recognize that doing what we love and we're passionate about and building on that actually shows our children that work doesn't have to be a negative word. It shows our children that pursuing our passion should be part of what we do, and that helps to create fulfillment in our lives. And I spend every day, of the week getting up and figuring out how to make more tools to help make that journey easier for the moms that I work with, so that they can get there quicker.
Get there quicker and along the way still enjoy their little children and the family life, and that's such a healthy attitude that you have, because we shouldn't have to sacrifice what we want to do, because then you don't enjoy all the aspects of your life. So good for you for taking that path.
Oh, thank you. And it's so funny, the word sacrifice too, I think, is an unnecessary word to use really in most things that we do. I think sacrifice is is kind of a negative word, is a self-giving word that we say, I have to sacrifice this. I don't want to, but I have to sacrifice it. I think we compromise. We decide to make purposeful decisions about our priorities and our time. But ultimately, a lot of the Boss Mom mission is about everything we do in our life stems from love. I believe that. And so when you love something, and that's your family and your business, there is always more love to give. The more that you love, the more positive feelings you have, the more motivation and inspiration you have, that you can do more, that you can incorporate more, that you can fulfill more and do more for people and add value in different ways, both in your business and your family. So that word sacrifice ceases to be part of your vocabulary, because the compromise is a willing and loving compromise that you give on both sides, in the family and the business. And I think it takes a lot of the stress and a lot of the frustration and anxiety out of the idea that we have to sacrifice because we, like I said, compromise willingly.
That was a very good description of it, and compromise willingly, that's a very healthy way to put it.
Oh,
so
great.
Thank you for that. Yeah, that was great. Well, here at Biz Stories Shared, we start every show with our guest's favorite quote. So, Dana, what's your favorite quote, and how do you apply this to your everyday thinking?
Yeah, so this is tough because I feel like this changes a lot. Like, depends what mood I'm in or what season I'm in. But one of my real favorite quotes is from a book called The Law of Divine Compensation by Marianne Williamson, and it basically says, we have the power to believe that something else is possible, that things can change, that a miracle can happen. And something that I really love about this quote is that that the power is with us. That and the fact that the quote ends that a miracle can happen is that our dreams can be big, and that our affirmations, our desires, our goals can be big, and that as long as we put on ourselves that we have that possibility, that we have that power to at least get ourselves closer, to at least take the steps to get us there, that all of those things are possible. And I think when we get up in the morning, life is hard. Raising kids is hard. Running a business is hard. Just living sometimes can be hard. It's not all picking which playground you're going to play out like it was when you're a kid. We have a lot on our shoulders. And so when we wake up and recognize that there is a beautiful big world out there full of challenges, but also full of possibilities, it makes getting up and making those things happen in your life so much easier. And by taking that action and owning that, I think that is what gives us the momentum to create additional positivity in our lives.
Additional positivity. Well, that's a very good ending on your quote.
Thanks. I'm all about the two-word phrases today.
Yeah, you are. That's great. Then how would you like the listeners to apply that mantra onto their journey?
Sure. I think that when I was recently talking about in the Boss Mom podcast just about you have to know what you want. You have to know what your end in mind is, as Stephen Covey would say, because you have to in order to go where you want to go, you have to know where you're going, right? So you have to make some decisions. I think in life, one of the difficulties is the decision making that we have to do every day. There's so many opportunities, there's so many possibilities, so you have to make that decision. So if you were going to apply this quote, this idea that you have the power to believe that something else is possible, that things can change, that a miracle can happen, you have to decide what you want that miracle to be. You have to decide what you want that change to be, what you want that possibility to be for you. And if you apply this quote, it's to understand where you would apply it. And when you realize where you want those things to happen in your life, I think then it can create a path for you to get there.
Oh, beautifully said. Thank you. Well, we know when we're taking action that sometimes along the way you might have experienced just a whisper of discontent. What matters is that you had the courage to take action and proceed with your goals and overcome the hurdles of no income and maybe even closed doors during the startup stage. Would you please tell a story of one of the times you just didn't get the results you set out to achieve?
Oh, all the time. By the way, being an entrepreneur is, and really a lot of life is all about, it's the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time things don't work. 20% of the time it totally rocks, and some of that time you're not even sure why. Owning a business, having a family, all of those things in life, being successful is all about getting past that 80% as quickly as possible, being able to recognize the 20% as quickly as possible, and to stop doing the 80% and doing more of the 20%. That's what we fight for every day, is to figure out what that is and do more of it. So I would say early on, the failures were bigger because I had less of a focus. I really knew less of what I wanted and where I wanted to go. And those were, I've actually had, when I started out, I wasn't doing business coaching. I was doing more mindful communication coaching and things like that. And I recognized that my passion for mindful communication and mindfulness and being present was something that fueled me and what I did on a day-to-day basis. And I felt so passionately about how it positively affected relationships, that I thought, I'm going to teach this. And I failed miserably, because my gift is not in coaching mindful communication, is not in relationship coaching. My gift is business strategy, is in seeing how tools fit together, is learning things quickly so I can teach other people how to do them, is doing all these different things that really are more on the business strategy side. And so I failed miserably because I wasn't honing in on my gift. When I recognized finally that what my gift was, and I shifted my business to be more along the lines of using that gift to my advantage, the mindful communication component and the passion I had for that, I found was always infused in how I talk to people and how I live my life and how I show people how they could possibly live their life and run their business. So I got to live my passion while also doing what I'm good at, which makes me much better money. And then I think so that epic fail was the ultimate turning point and lesson for me to really build something thriving.
Yes, that again was well said. But do you have a specific story?
Oh gosh,
that you can tell us?
Yeah. So I went to this. I went to a conference, and it was not a very good conference. But somebody got up on stage and they basically said, "You are, we're entrepreneurs and." Pretty much you want to do everything and wear all these different hats, but you got to find the thing you're really good at and take that and the thing you're great at, but it seems hard to other people, and do that in your business. And so I went home and I was trying to figure out how to apply this because things weren't working in my business. And I basically went and told people that I wanted to, that I was going to coach some people on this area of business strategy and really content creation. And I got 3 people to come in and do it for free. And what I found, it was so interesting. From that, it stemmed that I realized this is what I'm really good at. But only of the 3 people, 2 of them were total failures. It was not the right ideal client. I tried to do what they wanted, but I couldn't really understand their brand. Like, it wasn't a good connection, those kinds of things. So I ended up having 1 person that was amazing and 2 total epic fails where the project didn't work. I didn't get them the results they wanted, and it was a really great learning lesson for me. Once again, I like to think that the things that fail teach me the things that are going to work and be good. But I put myself out there and 1 worked really well and the other 2 totally bombed. And it was an amazing lesson to see the difference between when something works and something doesn't, and then start to analyze why those 2 things were so different, and help that to fuel how you're going to do things different in the future.
That was a great example of a failure, but yet you still had a success, and we really, it's sort of like that word sacrifice. We don't really want to call it a failure because you learned a lot.
Yeah,
from that.
I honestly think that in order to get up every morning and do what it takes to be an entrepreneur, I can't bring the negative words in. When I had both of my children, I did hypnobirthing, and it's a very similar concept that you don't use words that are negative. There was only positivity that was in the room with me when I had my children, and because negativity is what creates stress, and stress in your body is what tightens things. And when things are tight, it's difficult to be fluid. It's difficult for things to move in the way they're supposed to. And I feel that way not only about the body. I mean, hypnobirthing was an amazing experience for me to learn and put into practice in everyday life, but the fluidity that we need in our day-to-day life, in the way we think, in the way we function, in the way our body works, depends on us being open. And you can't be open when you're being negative.
Right. Well, I've never heard of hypnobreathing. Is it kind of tied to meditation?
A little bit. So it's hypnobirthing.
Oh, hypnobirthing.
Yeah, hypnobirthing. And but it is a lot about breath and everything. But it's mainly this idea that where you kind of are able to relax yourself almost in a meditation state enough to really just allow yourself to have your child without the stress. So I was able to have both kids naturally.
Wow.
And but what I love about it is there's a book and a whole CD and classes you can take, but the whole first half of the book isn't about how to breathe, how to, all these things. The first half of the book is talking about the history of having a baby, the history of woman, and this idea that we were literally built to have children. We were built that way. Like our bodies are built that way.
Right.
And we almost forget that, thinking that why would we be built to do something if it was going to be painful and a horrible experience? That's just not the way it's supposed to be, right? We've almost scared ourselves into thinking it's hard. And in reality, it shouldn't be. I mean, of course things are hard, but it shouldn't be horrific.
Right.
So I learned that, and you learn to change the way you think about it. You meet people and they go, it's the same thing in business. You meet people and they go, oh my gosh, you're going to have a baby. Okay. Well, it's going to be horrible. It's going to take forever to recover. It's going to be you're going to scream to your husband, why did you do this to me? And all those things, and the same thing in business. They're like, oh my gosh, business is going to be so hard. Like 80% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. And they give you all this negativity about it. And you bring that with you. And so I think part of the hypnobirthing is to shed that, is to help yourself reach a meditation and calm, because you aren't letting any of that be on your shoulders. You're brushing it away. And I take that approach into business and life in general, I think every day, because that same fluidity thing I was talking about is I need to be able to be flexible. I need to be agile in my business and in my life so I can move and take on anything that comes my way, because life is full of daily challenges, and not allowing those things to be on my shoulders gives me that weightlessness that allows me to be more flexible.
Wow. Hypnobirthing. I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah, it's super cool. Actually, you know what? I can give you a link. I wrote an article that's basically about hypnobirthing for your business. It's one of the chapters in my book. Yeah,
great.
So I talk about how you can apply that to business.
Oh, wonderful. I'll take it. All right. Well, what I want to do now, Dana, is to go to the other end of the spectrum. We would like to hear the story of the time in your journey when you had an aha moment, when you became aware of the path that you wanted to travel. So take us to that moment when you had that light bulb go off, and take us through the steps that you took to turn that idea into success.
Sure. So I always knew I wanted to write a book. And I, just by luck, had gone to a conference, met somebody. We had started to do some work together, and they invited me. A spot opened up in a mastermind there, and they had invited me into this mastermind. So I was in there, and one of the people in the mastermind was a book coach, and he basically said, hey, for everybody that's in this group, I'm going to give this amazing discount. If you want to write a book, you better get on it now, because he was moving to China from San Diego to go teach over there, and he and so he's like, you're going to get it now or before I leave. And I said, I'm in, give it to me. So we went, and one of the first things you do is you mind map your ideas. And I went in thinking I was going to write this book about content strategy, which is what I do. And and his expertise and really just the space he gave me to continue brainstorming even when it got awkward and strange, which I think the key to brainstorming is to be awkward and strange. That's when the ideas come out. And what came out was really this guilt I felt about being a mom and an entrepreneur, about loving my business and feeling like that made me a bad mom, or that I'd be judged for being a bad mom, about not wanting to stay home with my kids and wondering if that made me a bad mom. There was all these, am I a bad mom? Am I a bad,
right.
these feelings, and the fact that it took me a really long time to recognize that that wasn't the case, that loving my business and doing what I love is building a life for my family and actually allows me personally to be a better mom to my children.
Sure.
That idea came out, and it was so prominent that I decided that was going to be my book topic. And the aha moment I had was I put that idea out to the group. I said, hey, I'm thinking of writing this book. Here's some of the titles I'm thinking about. And what do you think? And the response I got was so amazing. Like, the response I got was, like, I had 300 plus people within like 30 minutes that had commented on this idea that was like, yes, please, you have to write this book. When is it going to be out? I need it right now. Like, I need this in my life.
How exciting.
Yeah, that I recognized that there was this flame that I needed to like fan the hell out of as much as possible.
Yes.
And that was my aha moment. My aha moment, I think, was not that this topic was important. My aha moment was that I may be a content strategist by trade, but that by creating a movement that was for moms to help get rid of this guilt, I was freeing them up to be able to learn my strategies and implement them without the daily things in our lives that hold us from doing the things that we are meant to do, without that holding them back. That by creating this movement, I was freeing them up to create the thriving business I knew that my skills could help them get to. And I think that was my aha moment. I could couple those together and make it something. And we launched Boss Mom in September of last year, and it is a really successful business now, just in the middle of 2016.
Oh, well, congratulations. And how exciting that it came about from a book.
Yeah.
You were just taking a class or at a meeting, and you decided, yes, you were going to write the book, and look at where it got you.
I know, right? Well, I think a book, too, is it's, just like with storytelling, like everything's in stories. Everything. Yes. What's so interesting is when I work with women about writing, and they write in jargon, right? We like almost think we need to be jargony, because those are the words that people know. And what we forget is that those words have been used so much that everybody either applies a different meaning to them that we can't control, or they apply no meaning and they pass over it without thinking about it. Stories give context. Stories give emotion. Stories give motivation and excitement and interest and empathy. That is what drives buying decisions. That is what drives us to have fun and enjoy each other. The silliness, the relationships that we build is all in storytelling. So in my mind, telling a story is where we do all of our learning.
Oh, my gosh. I'm just, woo-woo, it's just like a fire hose here. I can't even think of the next thing to say because I'm listening so intently. Thank you for that. Well, I'm going to ask you to bring us to the present time and to share your proudest entrepreneurial moment.
Oh, well, you know what I have to say? I recently, over the last, I think, 4 months, launched the Boss Mom Academy, which is my group coaching program. And I think why I would call that my proudest entrepreneurial moment is because I waited to do it for so long. I think I was scared of how it would all go down and how it would happen. I think maybe scared that people would be like, I don't want to be in a group coaching program with you. Yeah. I think I, just like everybody else, even though I have the experience and I have a really great brand and my business is doing really well, I still wake up sometimes and go, why is anybody listening to me? Like you have those times. But I put the work in. I put it out the way I wanted. I worked really hard to make it everything that it could be. And I don't think that the launching of it was my most proud moment. I think that the engagement and the women that we have in there, the amazing things that they've all done, I think that's my proudest moment, is that I went from being able to help a couple people, a handful of people at a time, to being able to helping more women. And I I mean, it's where I live, so I'm really engaged in that space. And, I mean, the women that are doing things in there, they put up videos of them doing chair dances. And, I mean, if you know anything about me in the Boss Mom community, I love dance parties and
yes,
love celebration. So we do a lot of celebrating, and it's also a space where they're like, hey, I don't feel like my husband's super supportive of this. Can you all give me some help? Or, I feel like my kids are sick and for a whole week and I feel like I'm so behind. Can you help me? So it's not just about business. It really is this perfect melding of being a mom and being an entrepreneur at the same time. And it's just this space that I get to wake up in the morning and go, I created it. I created this space for women that can feel like they're supported and also get the things they need to know what they need to do on a day-to-day basis. And I think that's amazing that I get to do that every day, and that, I love it, that it's working. It's working really well.
Well, that is wonderful, and so kudos to you for designing something like that is helping women, because I don't think that there's a lot of opportunity for women to get the kind of help that you are offering to them. So
no, I hear that a lot, actually. I hear there's a lot of business coaches, there's a lot of groups, there's even a lot of moms doing business coaching. And I think in some ways there's I think people get nervous about niching down, about saying, well, this is specifically going to be for moms, because I have a lot of dads, I have a lot of guys that come to me that get on my list, that read my content. But I really do love this space. I've been in coaching programs. I'm in one now. I believe your coach should have a coach. I know tons of people who have group coaching programs, and I love the space that we've created where they feel like they can come in and not only ask about business, but ask about the parenting side and how to deal with time management and how to deal with support or non-support from the people around them. So I think it is definitely unique. And I may be saying no to other people that don't fit that mom entrepreneur mold, who maybe might pay me for coaching. But to me, that space is so vital, is so important that I'm very happy to build that specifically for my girls.
Well, good for you for building that, because it is an arena that really does need paying attention to. And the one thing that I can see that your coaching helps them is that we get this little chatter going on in our head that tells us how that we're no good and you're a failure as a mom and your kids are dirty and they're sick and the house is sick, and we need that opportunity to be lifted up again.
Yeah. Well, in the Boss Mom Facebook group, we have the Throw the Guilt Away Tuesdays, which is my favorite day. And I love it because, I do that. Like my son, he wore the same pair of socks for a week. You know what? Like, it doesn't make me a worse mom. It just means maybe I should do laundry next week. And every week we say, tell us something that you are not letting go of, that's keeping you from doing the things you want to do in your business and your life, even the small things. And let it out there, like verbalize it to the world, and we will support you in a non-judgmental way to say that's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, nobody goes in there and says, I didn't feed my kid for a week. Like, those are obvious things that don't happen.
Sure.
It's always the little things that really ultimately aren't going to make the big difference, because everybody in our group loves their family. Love is never the issue. Love is never the point, the part that we feel guilty about. It's the little tiny things that are those sort of like superfluous add-ons of things we think we should be doing one way, or told we're doing another way, or we see one person doing it one way and think, oh gosh, why, I don't have time to do that. That must make me a bad parent. We let those go. And I definitely think it's that space that even just that one day of like, just let it go, let the guilt go, can make a big difference in then getting into Wins Wednesday, where we call it You Did It, We Did It Wednesday, where we can say, great, I let that go. What did that leave room now for me to be able to do that's more productive?
Oh, my goodness. And so you've helped to eliminate that, those words where we should on ourselves.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And what's interesting too is when you get a good space like this of the right people that all have the same kind of mentality, the same kind of environment together. And it runs the gamut for women in our group that are moms or that are expecting, that are trying to adopt. I just interviewed somebody for the Boss Mom podcast that's working on adoption. All these different spaces that are grandmas that are taking care of their grandkids, and all this, there's the spectrum of it, but we all have the same mindset. And I love it because we come into this group and we really do get the same kind of support that we all need to be able to move forward in a really easy way and not say, I should be doing this, I should be doing it, because ultimately one person posts something and 10 other people go, oh my God, I just did that last week, or that was so me, or yeah, that happened to me. And all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. And then the should becomes, oh, this totally happens to other people, or they totally, needed to give their kid a hot dog for the day because of A, B, and C, or whatever it is. And you recognize that, yeah, sure, not everybody in the world is going to do the things the way you do it, or not do the things the way you aren't able to do them, but you're not alone. And I think that whether it's as a parent or an entrepreneur, finding a group that can help you feel not so alone in the challenges that you have and the things that you do and the quirks that you have. I think that community we're a community built people. Like we aren't made to be isolated, and isolation, I think does harm to the way we are able to accept ourselves and experience the world. It's funny, you can get to know yourself better by being with people, I think, than by being by yourself.
I think that I agree with you completely, and that's probably where the terminology came from. It takes a village. It not only for kids, but for families and for moms and for dads. We can't just live in isolation, and so that's a very wonderful place that you've put for your clients.
Oh, thanks.
And people really want to hear stories like yours because it just sounds so successful, and you're helping individuals connect with others and themselves and make a better lifestyle, especially since you're working with moms. So would you tell us one thing that is really exciting you in your business right now?
Oh, yes. Oh, that's so easy. We are right in the midst of planning the Boss Mom Retreat. So there's especially if you do coaching, but in any online service industry, there's like a general progression, like a natural progression of things. You start working one-on-one, and then you maybe build some coursework, and then you do a group coaching program, and then you do an on-site event. And I have been wanting to do this for like 2 years. And we are finally at a place where it makes sense. And I went and saw locations. We're going to do it in an old bakery factory in downtown San Diego.
Nice.
Yeah, we're going to, it's going to be, it's not going to be like an event where you sit down and listen to people talk. It's going to be like a mastermind and a karaoke party and a sauna had a baby. And, I love it. So there's going to be, because as moms, I think, we think, like I told you, I love, like I'm the person when I eat, I mix everything together, right? Like I want one bite of everything and because it all feeds the taste for me. So I don't like to compartmentalize things. And so, my boss moms, when they are going to go to a business conference, they're going to be away from their kids for a day or two. And so I want to give them a space where they can further their business, but feel like they get to be a little relaxed and feel like they get to be a sexy lady at the same time.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, that's what we're working on. So I'm not going to have speakers. I'm going to have facilitators. So other coaches that come in and help facilitate people working on their business. We're going to have Disney song karaoke. Because we sing, we all know the Disney songs because we've all got kids, but we don't get to have a glass of wine and wear heels when we sing it. So you're gonna do karaoke. Yeah, we've got all sorts of fun stuff. Yeah, so I'm super excited. It's hard to actually not like stop wanting to run the rest of my business just to sit down and like imagine all the possibilities with this event. But it is bringing me immense joy just to imagine what's going to be like.
Oh, good. And how soon are you holding it?
So it'll be the end of January, the last weekend in January of 2017.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so we have a while, but I mean, when you're planning an event, there's going to be between about 150 or so people there. It actually it's like planning a wedding. Like you got to book places almost a year in advance. So.
That is really exciting.
Oh, thanks.
Well, Dana, what is the best business advice that you've ever received?
I think my stepdad, who's a wonderful entrepreneur and also a writer, and he told me that super simple. He said, business is people. And it goes back to, I think, that storytelling idea.
Right.
And he said you can get bogged down in the tools and the tasks in the day-to-day and the process and the automation and all those things that are important, and they will help your business. But when it comes down to it, business is people. It is the relationships you make. It is the interactions and the collaborations. It's the value that you give, the being useful and the putting what the effort that you have into making sure that you are creating better lives for people through those relationships that is going to make you successful. And so I keep remembering that business is people. If you don't have people to follow you, then you don't have a team. If you don't have people that believe in you, then you don't have a business. You don't have a brand. And the only way to be successful is to have those things.
Well, he sounds like a very wise man, and you're very wise to have captured those words.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Well, what is the vision of the future of your business?
Yeah, sure. So it's funny when I talk about this idea of a vision for the future. I always talk about it in three ways. I think emotionally, environmentally, and financially are the three ways I like to plan. And so emotionally, for me, it's being fulfilled by being valuable to other people. It is by feeling always that I'm worthy of love and that I am free and giving of my love. So that's the future that I want to create for myself. Feeling that I am in control of what I'm doing, that I have set my path and that I'm going that way. So that's all the emotional side. I think the environmental side is I want to create a space where my husband can quit his job in the next year or two, so that we can go spend summers in different places and give our kids this wonderful eclectic experience of the world and learning different cultures and learning different things. And experience for us, we're very experiential people. And then financially to be in a space where I can ultimately, I would love to be able to start a non-for-profit business in addition to the one I have now that really is out there to simply help moms who want to start their own business, to give them the resources, the tools, and the coaching to be able to do that. Send a babysitter over once a week for somebody to be able to go start their business. I want to create that space because I think moms have so much to offer, and often we feel like being a mother is the only thing that we can or should do, and I want to give them the resources and space to feel like they can pursue their passions while being an amazing mother at the same time.
Oh, that is a very worthwhile goal, being an amazing mother while they're really living their passion.
Yeah, and a lot of times they don't feel like they have the resources or space. I have a husband who has a wonderful job, and we've created an environment for ourselves where I was able to quit and start my own job and have kids and get some daycare for them while I'm building the business up. Not every mom has that opportunity, and I think that is really important because the children that they raise, for the moms that love to stay home and be the stay-at-home mom, that's the best way for them to be a wonderful mom. And there's a percentage of women who are like that, or even dads that are like that. Those of us that aren't built that way, I think we raise better children when we can be both mom and entrepreneur at the same time. So if I can build my business up enough to be able to create a non-for-profit that could help women do that and give kind of scholarships or something along those lines.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
I know, doesn't it? Sounds great. So that's like my 5-year plan.
Oh, that's very good. Well thought out, I can tell that. Well, Dana, would you share one of your personal habits that you strongly believe contributes to your success?
Yeah, sure. So there's two things I think are kind of molded into the same habit, but I'll break them up into two to make them more actionable for everybody. The first one is every single morning I take at least 5 minutes to sit down and look at what I need to accomplish that day and that week and assess what feasibly can get done. Because there's usually always more on your to-do list than you can really tackle. So that's the first thing I do. And then coupling off of that, I take a look at the things that are on my list that I say, yeah, I need to get these done. And I prioritize them based on how much they're going to actually do for me. So the first, like the top of the priority list always is, what do I need to get done so that my team or somebody, can do their job? What do I need to do so they can do their job? And that's the first thing I tackle. And then the next one is, okay, if I've got these 5 things, what of those 5 things is going to get me closest to my goal, going to create the most movement or momentum to whatever my big goal is for that week, that month, that year, whatever you're working towards. And I always gauge against that because we can get shiny object syndrome very easily. There's a lot of cool things out there that seem fun. We have a lot of great ideas, but focus is what makes us successful. And I think every day taking a fresh look at what you have to get done and reassessing the priorities, even when it seems like, oh, I do that every day. I already know. It's that verbalizing. It's that active practice, I think, that makes sure we stay in line and focused and on path. And I think that makes all the difference to being successful.
The word focus, I've heard the acronym is follow one course until success.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely.
Yeah. I copied it.
Hey, you know what? I tell you, why reinvent the wheel, right?
Right. Well, Dana, do you have an internet resource to share with our listeners which helps your efficiency like Evernote and Storytellers? You will find the links to these sites on the show notes of today's episode at bizstoryshared.com/Dana Malstaff.
Yes. So actually, I have a tool that's the most popular thing anybody comes to me for. I use Trello. And I say it's kind of like Evernote and Pinterest had a baby. And I call it, it's my work wife. I live in it. And I have a training that shows you exactly how I use it in my business to run my business and my team. And I also give you 5 of my boards that are already set up with instructions on how to use them. And I've had thousands of people take the training and get I was just interviewing somebody today that the reason she found me was because she got that training and said it changed the way they run their business. It's truly changed the way I run my business and allowed me to do so much more. I will absolutely have the resource for you. And you can also at boss-mom.com/Trello, and get that there. But I think it's one of the things that if you can find the right tool, Trello is that tool for me, that is the only way. Like you can't run things if you don't have a system.
Well, I agree completely, and I do not know how I found you. But I did sign up for your Trello course, and it is just remarkable. I tried it 3 years ago, and I just made a mess with it. But with the training that you gave on your course, listeners, I really recommend that you go there. If you want to get organized and take Dana's free Trello course, it really is remarkable, and I love it now.
Oh, thanks. And I'm actually adding more training as I'm learning things. I have a little list of extra things I want to train. I'm going to add to it. So you guys will be getting that soon.
All right, great. Well, would you describe for us who are perfect referrals for your business? And by that I mean business associates or clients the listeners know who would benefit from doing business with you?
Yeah, sure. Ultimately, I would say mom entrepreneurs who want to be entrepreneurs, who yearn for it, who it's like in their soul. But also I get boss dads, and so really I think it's there's a couple things. The people that use my resources, we have a ton of free stuff to send our way, and basically what I say is send them our way if they could use these free resources, and we will give them what they need, and if they want to work with us further, then those people will do that. We kind of have a nurturing system that's built that way. But I think that if you are a creative entrepreneur, you think visually, you think creatively, and you want to understand tools in that creative way, the same way I break down Trello, and you want a space where you can feel really excited about creating the entrepreneurial journey for you and really honing in on what that journey journey is going to look like and you want help figuring all of that out and creating a thriving business for you, then you want to come hang out with us. And we do 3 podcasts a week, one where I talk about business, one where we interview somebody, and one where my co-host NJ and I just chat about a particular topic that our group wants. You know, we've got the Boss Mom Facebook group. We have all sorts of resources out there. So really there's kind of something for everybody, and the only criteria is that you got to want to take action, because I'm super actionable, and you got to want to stay positive, and you got to want to not feel guilty about getting what you want.
Oh, great. All right. And I really do recommend, listeners, that you take advantage of all that she's offering to you. Dana, if you could recommend just one book to our listeners, what would it be? And you can recommend your own book also.
Oh, well, of course, Boss Mom, I think is a great book. I love it. You know what, to be honest, the best book, even just for your business, is The 5 Love Languages.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's by Chapman and Gary Chapman. And to me, it changed my life. It changed the way I interact with my husband. It changed the way I interact with my family. And it absolutely helps me interact with my community, with my my clients, and in business and in life. It is a book that shows you that I think it is the pinnacle of mindfulness when it comes to relationships, because it shows you, like I said, business is people, and it shows you that we do not experience love in the same way. We give love the way we want to receive love, but not everybody wants to receive love and feels that fulfillment in the same way. And when we recognize that, we can step out of ourselves and become conscious of that. We can start giving love in the way that other people want to receive it. And I will tell you, my clients get more, feel more, achieve more, because one of the first things I do is recognize who they are and what they need and how they will, because feeling love is just all about how we feel valued. And when we feel valued, we can do so much more. I figure out how that works for them, kind of using the 5 love languages and understanding that. And that is how I coach them, giving love and giving value in that way. And I find that it makes all the difference in every relationship, both personal and in business. So I would say if you're going to read one book, that would be the book.
That would be it. All right. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And your book is Boss Mom?
Yep. It's Boss Mom, The Ultimate Guide to Raising a Business and Nurturing Your Family Like a Pro. Which I also love, but I wrote it, so I'm a little.
Well, I don't have any doubt that it is just full of wisdom.
Oh, thank you. Well, it was a lot of fun to write, and I'm a journalism major, so I knew I was destined to write.
Oh, good for you. Well, I have truly enjoyed listening to your journey and the stories that you've shared. Would you please share one more time how we can get in touch with you and any other resources that you want us to have, and then we'll say goodbye.
Yeah, sure. So you can get us at boss-mom.com. You can join our Facebook group, which is rapidly growing. We've got like 1,200 or so odd women in there right now. That's at boss-mom.com/Facebook. You can get the Trello training at boss-mom.com/Trello. And if you have an interest in group coaching, you can find out more, and we do a 15-minute fitting call to see if it might be a good fit or if we can help you find the right fit for you in your entrepreneurial journey. And that's just at boss-mom.com/academy. We like to keep our URLs simple.
I think that's a very smart thing to do. Good for you. Well, I just want to say thank you again for being so generous with your time and expertise and all of the wisdom that you shared.
Oh,
it was just wonderful.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me. I love to be in these wonderful kinds of interviews. I just feel like I said, getting to chat and talk through your story helps me gain clarity on what I care about and what's important to me and what I want to do every day. So thank you for giving me that space.
You're very welcome. It was my pleasure. Well, listeners, you can find links to this resource and everything that we've been chatting about in today's episode by going to bizstorieshared.com, Dana Malstaff. Thank you again, Dana, and goodbye.
Oh, thanks.
Give the storyteller some love. Go to bizstorieshared.com, click on the iTunes button, and give a 5-star review. Thanks.